everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the spring campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game. When I said we were doing upgrades later today after Sister Mary and Trish wrapped Waking Nightmare this afternoon, I didn't have this much later in mind, but here we are. So, we are going to be doing upgrades in this video. In Waking Nightmare, Trish and Sister Mary picked up 10 experience, whereas when Jenny and Luke went beyond the gates of sleep last week, they picked up only 6 experience. So in this video, we're going to spend the experience for the investigators, and then we're going to have the tarot readings. So the way we're going to do this for this campaign is we're going to do the Dreamers upgrades and then their tarot reading. Then we're going to do the same thing for the Waking investigators. Then we're going to bring it back up here to wrap the video up. So let's go into the Dreamers upgrades, and let's say hello first to Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Your upgrades are going to be pretty simple in this first round of upgrades. So since Jenny ended up taking Randolph Carter, she immediately needs a charisma, so we're going to give her one for 3 experience. We're going to be seeing this card again. It's a permanent. You have 1 additional ally slot. When you turn on the charm, it could light the entire town. Let's hope that holds true for Jenny. And then we're going to upgrade both of her copies of Leo DeLuca to level 1. The upgrade here is that he now costs 5 experience, which makes him playable on turn 1. Which makes him playable with your very first action, whereas the level 0 version, you need to take a resource action to be able to play him in the first round. So that's it for Jenny's upgrades. Now let's go say hello next to Luke. Hello, Luke. Your upgrades are going to be similarly straightforward to Jenny. We're going to take his deductions and make them both level 2. So we'll take a look at one of the deduction level 2. You now get an additional lore on commit and discover 2 additional clues at your location instead if you succeed by 2 or more. So that's a nice straightforward upgrade there. We'll get that sleeved up real quick. Okay, and then Read the Signs is going to get an upgrade as well. That's going to go up to level 2 as well, so we'll take a look at Read the Signs level 2. This is a brand new card that came out with the Feast of Hemlock Vale Investigator expansion. You now get an additional wild card on commit, and if you pull a symbol during your investigation that's any symbol, I don't know how that would interact with Bless and Curse. You probably wouldn't get that back, but I wouldn't swear to it. But if you reveal a symbol, for sure, so your tentacle, your elder sign, your cultist, your stuff like that, you return it to your hand at the end of your turn. So that could be very handy, especially with all the skulls that Jenny and Luke added to their chaos bag, just by descending beyond the gates of sleep. Anyway, that will do it for Luke's upgrades. Now let's move back up top for the Dreamers Tarot reading. If you're a regular on the channel, you guys know the drill by now. Here's the tarot deck in shot. We're going to take 2 from the deck, flip 1 to its good side, or flip 1 to the bad side, and leave the other one on its good side. We'll give this a shuffle, hopefully shuffling the Chariot 7, or I think it's the Chariot 6 actually. Hopefully shuffling that nice and deep to get 2 fresh tarot cards for both sets of investigators. But we'll see what happens here. And the cut. And there are 2 tarot cards for the scenario. So first up we find Strength 8. When the game begins, each investigator may play an asset from their hand at -2 cost on the good side, or the bad during the first round of each game, and each investigator can't play assets. Our other card to look at, the Hierophant 5. During the first will test each investigator performs each round, they get +1 will. And on the bad side, during the first will test each investigator performs each round, they get -1 will. So which one do we want to flip? Do we want to flip the ability to play assets, or do we want to flip on the will test? If our Kluver was a more traditional lore based on this side, I probably wouldn't hesitate in flipping the Hierophant 5. The problem is, our Kluver is a mystic who really needs his willpower to be high as possible. But not being able to play assets on the first turn is... I would say pretty terrible, but there are a lot of times where I've had no assets and I've still been able to salvage a scenario. So... And how often is it that first will test that we face is in the Mythos phase? That could be a very dangerous card to have. That could be a very dangerous card to have flipped on the bad side. I'm looking at the Hierophant 5. And that's only a one-time thing on Strength 8. So I think we're actually going to flip Strength 8 this time. Because the risk to having the willpower impaired, especially when that first test is likely to be in the Mythos phase, seems like a very bad idea. So let me make my notes here. Bad, we left Strength 8. I'm just making some notes here. First round, can't play assets. Okay, that will do it for Luke and Jenny. Now let's move to the Waking Investigators. We'll start with their upgrades, and we'll say hello first to Sister Mary. Hello, Sister Mary. 10 experience gives us a lot more options with you in this case. So we're going to start off with a pretty straightforward upgrade by upgrading both of her Vicious Blows to level 2. Similar to Deduction, we gain an extra combat icon and +2 damage if we succeed by 2 or more on an attack. Pretty standard first upgrade for Guardians, I would think. We're also going to upgrade her ally in Greta Wagner to level 3 for the other 6 experience, both copies of that. So we'll take a look at Greta Wagner, the Purifier, at level 3. We gain a wild card on Commit. We also gain a +1 lore on the stat line. And we gain an extra health on her Soak. So we'll go ahead and get those all sleeved up. And then that will do it for Sister Mary. So now let's go say hello to Trish for her upgrades. Hello, Trish. Like Luke, you're the Kluver on your side. So we're going to upgrade your deductions to level 2. As we made this upgrade with Luke, we're not going to look at deduction level 2 all over again. We'll just go ahead and get it sleeved up. And then similar logic to what Jenny did in taking her charisma prevails for Trish, but the problem's a little bit bigger for Trish because she's got 2 very strong allies already in Milan and Leo De Luca before we add Randolph to the equation. So she actually needs 2 charismas. So we're going to give her both of those for her other 6 experience. And similar to, and I kind of warned you guys about seeing charisma again with Jenny when we did that with Jenny, so we're all done with upgrades there. So now let's move back up top for the Waking Investigators Tarot reading. We've got the tarot deck here ready to go for the Waking Investigators, so now let's get into their tarot reading. Once again, we'll give the deck a shuffle. into cut. And there are 2 cards to look at. First card up for the Waking Investigators. Justice 11. Cancel the first doom that would be placed on the final agenda of the game on the good side, or the final agenda of the game enters play with 1 doom on it. On the bad side, or on the other card, Death 13. Each investigator gets +1 health on the good side. Each investigator gets -1 health on the bad side. I think we're going to flip Justice 11. Mostly because Sister Mary is a 5 health investigator. If she was a 6 health, I probably would be a little bit warmer to flipping Death 13. But especially when the 5 health investigators are Monster Puncher. So, let's see, and then bad is Justice 11. Final agenda enters with 1 doom. Okay, that's all done. So now let's bring the Dreamers back into shot to wrap this video up. Should be all kinds of back to normal this week. Wednesday on the channel, we're playing game number 3 on my TAC-UP Wargaming list as we play Mag-23 Guadalcanal from Historic Wings. Saturday, we're continuing Mystical Munchies out of the Dungeon Meister cookbook with the entree, Diamond Soul Food. Next week, the Dreamers will be into their second scenario as they start their search for Kadath. The week after that, the Waking Investigators will have their second scenario, as I believe their second scenario is 1,000 Shapes of Horror. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.